While the Latin America continent is one of the largest food producers in the world, poverty and hunger scenarios are still present in many different countries. External debts, corruption, and lack of infrastructure are some of the biggest problems behind the vulnerability of the population. Haiti, a Caribbean country, has a population of 11 million inhabitants, of which 4.9 million suffer from insufficient food consumption. Furthermore, it is considered one of the poorest countries in Latin America, and it still suffers from the consequences of the 2010 earthquake, which caused the death of 120,000 people. However, what do all these data have in common, and how do they relate to explain the ongoing humanitarian crisis? Haiti has an HDI of 0.510 and a multidimensional poverty index (MPI) of 41.3%. In other words, analyzing this data, it can be inferred that the country's human development is precarious, since the HDI, the index that measures the quality of life, is low. Moreover, observing the MPI values, which include factors like education, health, and basic sanitation, it is noticed that almost half of Haiti's population lacks access to basic rights and conditions, contributing to the current crisis that still have no end. Social inequality in Haiti is a serious problem that significantly contributes to the hunger in the country. Historically, a small elite holds much of the wealth and power, while the majority of the population lives in poverty or extreme poverty. This concentration of resources makes it difficult for most aliens to have access to sufficient and nutritious food. A problem, unfortunately very common in Latin American countries, is the hidden hunger. When the calorie consumption is sufficient, however, there is a large deficit of nutrients and vitamins. The Brazilian documentary Garapa, directed by José Padilha, presents the reality of families in Ceará who do not have access to quality food that contains sources of vitamins, carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. Thus, the solution found was a mixture of sugar dissolved in water. The solution, called Garapa, because it contains sugars, temporarily satisfies the hunger, but gives a false sense of being full. However, the bodies of the children and young people do not have what is necessary for proper functioning and physical development. This condition, known as hidden hunger, does not have more specific statistics and data, but it is estimated that about 2 billion people in the whole world do not have biological efficient diet. Still on this topic, inequality manifests itself in various ways, such as the lack of access to land for cultivation, jobs with decent wages, and basic services such as sanitation, health, and education. Without these opportunities, many people cannot produce or buy enough food for their families, generating serious consequences for the Haitian population. Malnutrition, especially among children, can lead to long-term health problems, triggering diseases such as anemia, osteoporosis, endemic goiter, and gastrointestinal problems, as well as psychological and social aspects, hindering learning and reducing productivity in adulthood. Furthermore, food insecurity also contributes to social inequality, which can lead to the immigration of people in search of better living conditions. In addition, it's very important to analyze the influence in politics in Haiti. Unlike Brazil, the Haitian political system is semi-presidential, meaning there is a president, who is the head of state, and a prime minister, who is the head of the government. The president is elected by the population for a 5-long term, and the prime minister is chosen by the president and approved by the National Assembly, which is the Haiti's parliament. In recent years, Haiti has faced many political crises. One of the most recent and serious begins after the assassination of the president Jovenel Moïse in July 2021. This situation left a large power vacuum, with difficulties in reaching a consensus who should lead the country. Furthermore, Haiti has a story on political instability, which contest elections and periods in which there were no regular elections. This has led to the weakening of democracy and increasing the influence of armed groups. Criminal gangs has gained increased power in the country, controlling large areas, especially on the capital, Port-au-Prince. These groups often involve in illegal activities such as drug trafficking, kidnapping, and violence. In April 2024, a provisional government has installed in Haiti, which, according to the journalist Rodrigo Durão Coelho, has worsened the vulnerability of the population, aggravating the armed conflicts in the nation, and mainly increased levels of hunger and fear among the Haitians. Unfortunately, this scenario has become increasingly worse, and each passing year, news of death from malnutrition and other diseases for improper nutrition increases even more. In conclusion, the social, political, and economic situation in Haiti is very complex and must be analyzed from various perspectives. Social inequality is one of the main factors that make Haitian population more vulnerable and more susceptible to hunger. Hunger, in turn, is present with approximately half of the population of the country, along with malnutrition and the hiding hunger. Only with great efforts from the Haitian population and the government can the situation be minimally reversed so that in the future human rights can be truly fulfilled and respected.